That bird is loud. I really don't know what it is or where it is, but that's a loud bird. All right, so I'm standing inside the radio bus stop, and I featured it in several different vlogs, and I even did a short about it. But in case you haven't seen either of those, let me back up and give you a cool looking view of it. It's one of my favorite pieces of public art, and I think it's kind of sad it's in a location where not too many people get to see it. But anyway, I think that's probably my favorite bus stop in the entire city, from an aesthetic point of view. Of course, very few people actually wait for the bus and the radio. Most people that catch the bus here actually park in these park and rides here, in the covered parking at the park and ride, and they walk to the bus as the bus pulls up. So I'm in the extreme minority in walking to this bus stop, and also in the extreme minority as somebody who takes this bus as part of their commute to work, as opposed to part of their commute home from work. But hey, it works, so I'm happy and appreciate it. And the extra $2.25 that I normally have to pay, this driver, I reached in my pocket, and he's just like, don't worry about it, and just waved me in, which is really nice. Granted, he could have just as easily, I told him, so I got it. He's like, yeah, you're good. So, yeah, I appreciate that. That's nice. So far, I'm really, really happy with the new charging cable that I got. Oh, there's somebody coming up behind me. Wow. So far, super happy with the new charging cable that I got. With the magnetic tips. I'm up to 11% on my UMX phone that was completely dead when I got on the bus. So just in that short bus ride, I was able to get it up to 11%. Here you can kind of see how the magnetic tip sticks out. Yeah, it does stick out. I'm on the fence as to whether I should just leave it tucked in the phone like that, in my pocket, or if I should try to keep it somewhere else. I do realize that is a completely non-standard part, so if I lose it, there's really no replacing just that part. I have to replace the entire, cord and another set of tips and whatnot. So that's sort of a downside. But I've got a killing machine going through. I'm always one to kind of stand my ground in crosswalks, but I understand with the way that corner is designed, even a driver trying to pay attention is going to be hard pressed to see me walking in that crosswalk. So, until I'm right in front of him. So, of course, I think it would help if there was a stop sign there instead of a yield sign. But anyway, it is what it is. Somebody else walking this way. That's unusual. Anyway, I'm happy so far with this thing. The little tip that's in the base of the phone, it wiggles a little bit, and I think that probably has to do with just how much damage that charging port has sustained since I picked up that phone. Which it is what it is. I hope to not be using that phone too much longer. I do. In the very near future, I do want to get another iPhone 6s Plus, 128 gig, and I've mentioned that several times. But I'm determined to hold off with just these two phones that I have for, I want to say, another month. I think I can tough out this phone situation for another month. I just want to be confident in. It's still kind of. Oh my God! They locked it. Wow. ADOT finally came in here and locked up that wall, that gate. Bastards. Or maybe Phoenix did it. I'm not going to be the guy that vandalizes it, but I'm optimistic somebody soon will cut that chain. Because, wow, fuck you people, man. People got to go through here to get to work. Not cool. Not cool at all. Almost got my pants dirty dealing with that. Sure I've mentioned in the past, this area is becoming more and more of a homeless camp. We got some trash or something going on in that corner, and some more trash at this corner, and a mattress over there. So somebody in a tent there. We got this some kind of fancy antenna on top of that. That's RV. Boy, that back end's looking rough though. Now this RV up here is pretty damn nice. Oh wow, the guy walking was heading to the tents in the truck. Fun times. I figured he was another Amazon coworker, but apparently he's a 79th Avenue resident. Interesting. When I was coming home Tuesday morning after my Monday night shift, this RV, which is actually a pretty damn nice RV, and I can hear its generator going. I usually hear their generator going. They had around the front and outside of their, got a power cord going across to the other tents. Good times. Good times. They had these LED lights wrapped around the front of the RV. They were like pulsating different colors. It was felt like they kind of set a new standard for ghetto fabulous. It's like, hey, just because you're homeless doesn't mean you can't have fancy mood lighting around your abode. So, anyway, and I can't even say, damn, that's a stupid thing. There's a part of me who wants to say that's a stupid thing to spend your money on when you're homeless. But, I mean, let's get real. Moving into an apartment is freaking expensive now, especially if you've got some bad marks on your credit. They want so many deposits and so many hoops and stuff that you got to jump through. I'm really, really lucky that I am where I am with the landlord that I got. Because I would, if I was to move out of my place, I feel like I'd be very, very hard-pressed to find another apartment that I would qualify for that would be willing to rent to me. In spite of the fact that I've got like a, legit full-time job, that pays me in a paycheck now. I still think I don't think my income would qualify me for most apartments. So, yeah, really can't slight them for buying neat little LED lights, especially considering how cheap those things are nowadays. I mean, there's a good chance they probably got that shit from a dollar store for, $1, or from someplace like Five Below for $5. Nifty color-changing LED lights are something that's obscenely cheap nowadays. So, it was a Amazon Prime truck, Hero Trucking LLC. So definitely a subcontractor pulling the trailer. Gosh, I forget what I was going to talk about on this walk, and I'm well over halfway there. I've been wanting to shoot a video of this walk, though, where y'all can see just how much more there is in the way of homeless camp. It's on the little dirt stretch of 79th Avenue between I-10 and Roosevelt Street. It's going on like 3 months now of commuting this way to Amazon, and initially there used to occasionally be a car there that it looked like somebody was living in, and but yeah, the homeless population on that little walk has definitely gone up. And to be fair, there's less people there than there was 2 days ago. So it looks like I got a coworker coming in a Model 3. I assume he gets paid a little more than I do. I would imagine most people in this building get paid a little more than I do. But I'm still sticking with this. I feel like I got more opportunities for advancements than a typical no-skill warehouse job. So, in fact, I just caught up in another YouTube video comment section where people are just absolutely deriding Amazon and it's a terrible place to work. They treat their employees terrible. And I'm thinking to myself, have you ever worked for Amazon? To be honest, of all the places that I've ever worked, and I've been working since I was 13 years old, I'm 51 now, this is actually probably one of the places that's treated me the best as an employee. I'm not used to getting medical insurance at no additional cost. I'm not used to having any kind of a retirement plan, which I have. I'm not used to being easily able to take days off. In fact, the last day I went to work, which was Monday night, Tuesday morning, and as I mentioned in my first video today, I'm on another 2-day work week, second week in a row. And I said I was going to explain that in the first video I did today, and did I? No. And do I have time to? No. But I think a lot of it comes to the fact that it is really easy to get a day off of work here. It really is. If you need some time off to handle something, you don't have to call nobody, you don't have to deal with anybody. Just open up the Amazon A to Z app, and there's options. And after talking to my last conversation with HR on the subject, the way they're I think it's called UPT for unpaid time. The way that works, if you have enough of it accrued, you don't even need to bother to get on the app. Just don't show up. Just manipulate your numbers accordingly. As long as you're consistent enough showing up that you've got enough of that accrued, it doesn't hurt you at the slightest, like I thought it did. I think I mentioned last Wednesday night when I tried to come out here. I was just too tired from a whole week of very extremely physical relations with Crystal, and just not much sleep. And by the time Wednesday night rolled around, I was too damn tired to come in. And I put in for 3 hours on the app, 3 hours of UPT. Just, so it would show that, I'm going to show up at 10 o'clock. And then when I actually tried to show up at 10 o'clock, I was way too physically exhausted. I fell asleep on the bus a couple times coming out here, fell asleep at the transit center where I was kind of uncomfortable and unsure as to what bus, where to wait for my bus for my transfer to the 83 South. And just decided, I'm entirely too fatigued to be working around be working around, heavy equipment and boxes, and I mean, conceivably, if I'm too fatigued to operate a pallet jack correctly, I could conceivably hurt somebody. So it was just best that I not come in. So I was unable to get, for whatever reason, I just couldn't seem to get the app to work. I kept getting and I mentioned I screenshotted it. I kept getting an error, like a connection error, and I screenshot it. And I showed it to HR 2 days ago, and they were like, "Oh yeah, don't worry about that. It's UPT. Just it does your UPT. Just it changes your hours to UPT automatically. That's just like by default it does that." And I'm like, "Oh wow, cool." So, I mean, obviously, I can't just fuck off day after day after day of work, or I'll run out of accrued UPT. But I consistently show up enough that number is generally going up, and it's, I don't know how many days or hours, worth of UPT I have, but it's quite a bit. And I heard that it keeps accruing, and eventually it gets to a negative number. And if it's negative 10, then you get a talking to and potentially fired. But I mean, I'm nowhere close to that. So as an employer, they make it super easy to get time off. And on my way home Wednesday, I took the Route 17 again, since the train is pretty unreliable right now. And I ended up chatting with a woman that works at Amazon most of the way. I think she rode all the way to like 27th Avenue. And I had a great conversation with her, and she was talking about how prior to coming here, she worked for Target, and while the pay was just the same, that it was next to impossible to get a day off. Just talking about the hoops that you had to go through to maybe get a day off, and I'm just like, I'm sure glad Amazon makes that easy for us. So when I see people putting comments in YouTube about, it's a terrible place to work and they treat their employees really bad, I'm just wondering, what's your basis for that? Is that just echoing shit that you've read online or things that you've heard? Do you actually work for Amazon? Because I do, and they treat me pretty damn good here. So anyway, I need to wrap this up. There's people that are walking kind of close, and I don't want to look too weird recording here, and I need to find my ID badge. But anyway, thanks for coming with me on the walk, and maybe tomorrow I'll explain why I've only been working